Party people! What's up? Tony Rowe here, battling again in a symmetrical English. What am I thinking about? I always play G3 there. Oh, pre-move. What's up? Pre-move again. What's up? Knight C7. It's always Knight C7. Knight C6, and then I'm going to play Booyakasha, this move. I think this is where it goes. Yeah. This move is very clever. Yeah, the idea is that in the event of Black's most natural move... Wow, he's not even going to think about it. Okay. In the event of Black's most natural move, I can play B4 for tactical reasons. And in this structure, it's a reverse Maroczy, basically. So it's a reversed accelerated dragon. As in the accelerated dragon, you're always trying to get in either B4 or D4. D4 is, for obvious reasons, quite difficult if you don't start with B5. So, and this is one way to use the fact that you're white and cheat with an extra tempo. And this is the tactical point. Of course, knight takes knight e5, simply hangs the e5 pawn right away, and white is very happy to trade, to essentially have traded A, B, and C for C, D, and E. That as you could guess is favorable for white. And of course bishop b4 runs into this cheapo. I'll show all the tactics afterwards. Okay, so now I do have to think for a hot second. I don't recall how I'm supposed to do this. There's takes here, check. There's takes here. Takes here allows this. I don't know if that's a big deal. Probably not. And there's takes. Oh, takes here immediately would be quite horrible. So instincts, of course, tell me to take this way. Is him keeping the pawn a huge deal there? So there's knight c6. Let's just say he takes this way. Well, all right. Let's. All right. Which way am I going here? So let's say knight c6, bishop d2. Queen d2 or bishop d2. So many things to calculate. Bishop d2, b takes c6, bishop takes c6 check, bishop d7, bishop a8, queen a8. And then I guess I have to go f3 if I want to keep the exchange, because castles, bishop h3 would threaten bishop takes f1 and queen g2 mate at the same time. There's also bishop takes c6 check, b takes c6, d takes c3. Let's say queen d1, king d1. Ooh, that could have been dangerous. What does that look like? I mean, also decent. Even material, but c6 is loose. My dark square bishop is quite good. I'm a little bit less certain there, though. I think I want to play this way and just, I mean, this really isn't even a pawn sack because c6 is hanging at the end, so let's just play this and see what happens. I'm using these new pieces. Truth be told, I didn't know these existed until I went in here and piece set. It's called something. These should have the name when you hover over them. Personal opinion. Okay, so now is there check? So one way to go is bishop takes c6, check, bishop d7, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, then d takes c3, queen d1, king d1, and I have 5 pawns to 4. So that would be neat. Pretty confident bishop a8 is unplayable, queen a8 here, yeah, that's dead lost. So it's really just takes here or takes here check. Truth be told, I'm not super excited about this. I would like to keep the queens on. Reason being is I feel like there's going to be some savagery with this. Okay, what's the material? I'm down a piece, so I have to take this back one way or the next. was like starting to contemplate this move. No. That would be complete garbage. That attack is probably not worth a rook. I think I'm just going to grab the pawn and go into, you know, something of a technical endgame. I'm a little bit nervous practically because of the passed A pawn. So he does have this outside passer, and I have two extra, well, I'll have two extra sort of pseudo center pawns, but all right, do I have anything? Last second check of, no, I don't think so. All right. We're doing it. If you guys have not checked out the Reddit AMA for Tebow, Tebow's Reddit AMA. Oh, I didn't see that move. Oh, I have Queen A4. That's probably what I'm going to play. Queen A4, Knight B5, though, perhaps. I could also just castle. I'm not super concerned if he wins his pawn back. Even castles Queen A3, I would be very happy to play Bishop A3 in that position. That is not something I would be sad about. Sorry, I'm just thinking for a second. As usual, my opponents are playing quite a bit faster than me. So, yeah, my choices are F3 looks incredibly dumb. I would rather just castle, so it's really just castles or Queen A4, I think, are my main options. It actually kind of doesn't... I'm not sure Queen A4, Knight B5 actually improves my position that much. Well, yeah. I would have to castle anyway, and then probably inserting Queen A4 and Knight B5 actually helps my opponent, I would guess. So he castles. Yes. Is there any reason why I should protect this? Probably. Well, if I don't, I'm probably just... It's going to be very hard to win if I don't keep my c-pawn, let's put it that way. But what else do I play here? The problem is all the moves that keep my c-pawn look incredibly dumb. like Queen c2 looks just too passive to me. Queen b3 puts my queen on the open b file. I'm probably going to get whacked. A move like bishop e3 comes to mind, but then perhaps he goes a5. My first thought is rook a3 to start ganging up on the pawn, but then knight b5, hitting this and hitting this. So bishop e3, a5. Maybe I'd have to play queen a4 or rook a4. Bishop e3, queen c3, rook a7, bishop a7. I'm obviously still up a pawn, but all the pawns on one side when he has the knight doesn't seem like something that technically I'm going to be able to win without some help. I mean, yeah, bishop b2 looks incredibly dumb. Just, again, rook f to b8. Bishop b2, rook f b8, bishop d2, rook f to d8. I'd have to go something like queen c2, and then, I don't know, knight b5 or knight d5 looks totally fine. Queen c4 even. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep the c-pawn, and if I can't keep the c-pawn, I would rather be as active as possible on this move, like just try and get rid of it and put my pieces on their best squares and generate some kind of an initiative while he's trying to win this back. Honestly, maybe bishop e3 is the best move that I have. I'm gonna just chuck that out there. I'm not sure I have better, honestly. I would expect him to go a5. It doesn't make a lot of sense to go queen c3. He should keep the passer and make me worry about this weak c pawn for another move. I could go something like, okay, maybe not. Is there a trick? I don't see it. It's just kind of lame. What's this guy's rating? Islandification. I respect your movement. Yeah, check out Tebow's Reddit AMA. It's really good. One of the top threads in chess Reddit history, and couldn't feature a nicer dude. All right, I like takes queen d5. Usually in these very simple positions, it's with queens, it's a good idea to just plop your queen in the center somewhere. He's going to go knight c7. He doesn't have much of a choice. And that's fine with me. I'm hitting this, and also he's got a loose back rank, so his choice of moves is extremely limited. Rook a5, queen d8 mate. Rook b8, I guess. Sort of asking for bishop f4. And knight c7, I think, is really it. Now do I go queen d7 or queen b7? Kind of like queen b7. Again, it's moderately hard for him to move his pieces. Again, a move like this would allow mate. One thing I didn't consider is maybe he just has a move like h6. I thought rook c1 was going to whack him over the skull, but rook a1. And if I taking back is check. Maybe there's queen c7, little x-ray action. No, that doesn't work. Maybe it does work. No, it doesn't work. Does not work. h6, rook c1, rook a1, queen c7, queen takes c7. Idiot. With a pin. His rook pins my rook. I thought for a second rook takes c1 check, and I had... Oh, actually, it just fails for literally every reason, doesn't it? Rook c1 check is also completely crushing. So that was good. Yeah, Tebow was the one who actually alerted me to the pieces here. They're kind of nice. Really? Yeah, that wasn't the best move. That's somewhat funny. Okay, well, I might just play another one. That was quick. But in any case, let's take a look at it. Tony YouTube. All right. So this is a line. I know it's not the most popular line, but it is pretty well known. And this move order is not really possible anyway, but sometimes you'll reach this position like with knight f3 in instead, and then d5 knight to c3 here, bishop g2. I had this line OTB versus a master, and he played this move, which comes close to losing instantly after just knight e5 with a nice discovery on the knight. Of course, knight takes, and then I take back, and if he tries to offload it, you have either this this capture, or you can take check, takes here, and then take. I'm guessing this way. Both of these are quite good for white. But with this move order, black doesn't have that luxury. And yeah, this tricky idea. The point being e5, b4 immediately. It should be no surprise where I got the idea from. Yeah, and as I was showing, this is the less obvious line. If you've never seen it, how white gets the pawn back immediately. There's this tactic. Takes, check. Here, takes here. I had this in a blitz game recently. On let's see if it'll show it. Yeah, 2 of them. I find this a lot. Like there are a lot of things in the lichess database that like where my name shows up an unusual amount, just because they're like highly obscure lines that I've worked out pretty deep. There's another one that's kind of funny, completely unrelated, but someone was asking about this line on Chess Pub recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I play that. In the Queen's Gambit with knight c3 and knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, it's a little bit of an unusual move order. Usually people exchange here first and then play bishop g5, or they play knight to f3. But there's a weird option to go bishop g5 here, which can kind of move order black out of a lot of odd systems that he might play, and try and essentially transpose back to the Queen's Gambit with knight f3 on the next move, having somehow restricted black's options. If that's not clear, I'm sorry. You can ask in the comments if you need like more clear examples. But one move you can play is d takes c4 here. The point being that e5, c5, again, we're digging pretty deep here. Like there aren't very many games. E5 actually is close to losing after c takes d4, and the point is not to get your piece back immediately, but to play g takes f6, and after bishop h4, there are a lot of moves here, but the one I play is knight to c6, and all of the games in the database are mine, and they're all wins. The point is that if white tries to save the piece with knight e4, then bishop b4 check is just an absolute bloodbath. King e2 is like just disgusting, and if knight d2, then c3, and if he takes, then I take back, and he can't move the knight because of c2. So, in any case, is not relevant. Sort of a humble brag, but yeah. Back to the game. This move. Let's go back to the Masters database. Let's fix that first. Yeah. No games. Okay, so no one's played this way. Yeah, this move feels more natural. It is possible to play this way. But, I don't know. It feels to me like the bishop on g2... First of all, I'm just bagging a pawn, obviously, in the game because I can take on c6. Whereas here, I can't take on c6 because of bishop b7. And, you know, me missing this bishop allows black this kind of issue. So, actually, maybe it was much clearer than I thought that knight takes c6 was the best move, but it's also just intuitively the best move. I mean, this bishop is an absolute beast. I'm pretty sure there's... Okay, so takes here first, huh? Really? What is the point? Okay, takes. And if he just hunkers down, maybe I go here. Knight b5 and then bishop bishop b4. Oh, why is this so much better? I mean, okay, he sort of has to do this. Maybe he... Okay, probably, maybe not castles. h5, stockfish, you funny. Okay, I'm not playing h5. No one would ever play that. Okay, and he's just losing the pawn, I guess. That's lame. That's too deep for me. I would not find this. Of course. And I guess here is not as clear because of this. Yeah, I mean, it still looks good for white, but not as clear. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and of course this is unplayable. This is just dead lost. Yeah, and everything. I mean, everything's pretty bad. Something like this is similar to that other line, except black is missing the c-pawn and the light squared bishops are traded off. Obviously, still going to be quite comfortable for white. I'm just up a pawn, and hopefully, you know, I feel like white's winning chances kind of hinge on making the a-pawn a weakness here and just being able to, like, keep the c-pawn. I guess with the queens off, the c-pawn is not as hard to defend. It seems to me like white's chances of putting like rook a5, rook f to a1, bishop e3 here, king c2, and hunkering down on the a-pawn and trying to defend the c-pawn is actually possible. And that, I mean, that's basically how you'd have to win this. You'd have to win the a-pawn and keep your c-pawn, or I mean, the c-pawn is if you have to trade these, just like I was worried in the game, you're pretty much destined to a draw. You can make the guy suffer for a long time, but 4 versus 3, you know, is very tricky to win. Not impossible, but it's tricky. Okay, takes. Yeah, I mean, this is the best that I saw. Oh, wow, it's just winning right away, huh? Queen d5, knight c7, queen b7. I also looked at this. It's just not as obvious that it's... This keeps black tied up a bit more because I'm eyeing the rook, the back rank, and the knight on c7 all at the same time. He's kind of in zugzwang a little bit. Can't move the knight because the rook hangs. Can't move the rook off the back rank because he gets mated, and... Yeah, so he goes queen e5, which makes a lot of sense, actually, to meet the threat of rook to c1, but does not allows a second winning move. And if queen a5... the problem is just that rook c1 comes no matter what. Like if queen a5, rook c1, I guess, right? Oh, 96, and he has knight f8, so that doesn't work, actually. But bishop b6. All right, cheap shot. And queen b5, queen takes c7. I'm just winning. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. And queen e5, we saw the issue with that. Okay, and what about the line that I was thinking of, which is just this, rook a1, yeah. And this is obviously still good, but not winning. So there's some trick. h6. Bishop f4 anyway. And if rook a1, yeah, of course. I mean, you're just removing the defender. You can't move the knight. You can't move the knight, and you can't protect the knight. Rook a1, I can just take on c7. I would presume this way, yeah. And you're just winning. That's nice. Bishop f4. Sort of silent, but pretty crushing. And then knight e6. Sorry, just cleaning up my annotations here. I like to be very tidy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is not particularly exciting. This guy's my favorite. This is one of my favorite humans on the planet, by the way. Love. Yeah, so you guys can thank WinG19 for this video, by the way, because he sent me this message earlier. This is my favorite. Watches my English videos, probably knows I'm an idiot and that I only speak, you know, English, and sends me this, which just says, make a video. I love that. Well, you know, I'm weak-minded and easy to boss around, and he sent me 2 hours ago a message, and here you go. So, oh geez, all right. Don't read my lichess messages, but I had to show you guys that. Kind of a disappointingly quick game, but okay. In any case, until next time, I'll be back with more. Hopefully I'll be black one of these days. That would be excellent, wouldn't it? Bye, guys.